There is nothing more important than the safety and security of our guests on the mountain while they are skiing and riding with us. Educating our guests on lift loading and unloading procedures is a critical part of keeping everyone safe. Another key responsibility we have is to manage behavioral issues as they arrive when teaching children. This video provides important lift loading and unloading policies and procedures that are required to be followed when teaching. If you have any questions after this video, please contact your supervisor or manager. Now let's get started. Taking time to give a thorough and informative chairlift riding lesson is essential to your students' success. Ask the question, are you familiar with riding this type of lift? Never assume a guest has ridden a lift before, regardless of skill level. It is also important to be sure the terrain the lift accesses is appropriate for your guest.
All right, so you're doing great. So now it's going to be time to ride the lift, okay?
Take the time to explain loading and unloading. Point out the weight and load boards in the loading area. Allow the students time to watch others loading the lift. Provide an opportunity for a dry run using a teaching chair, bamboo, or ski pole. Don't forget to tell your students what to expect at the top. When to put the bar up and where to group up are critical to the success of the first ride. In many group lesson situations, you will not be able to ride with all of your children. Use the space outside of the lift maze area to get your students organized so they are ready and focused on what is to come. Make small groups or pair children up. Assure them you will try to ride with everyone before the day is over. If you have students with ski poles, now is the time to make sure you teach them to take the straps off their wrists. Have them hold the middle of the pole in one hand so that they can help to pull themselves into the chair using their free hand. Use the appropriate staff lane to move your group to the lift. Position yourself at the front of the class so that you can help your children merge with our general public. Alternate after every second group in the public lane. Always be polite when asking to alternate in, and be sure to say thank you.
Awesome. Welcome to Vail. Would you mind if we alternated in? Come on in. Great. All right, guys, here we go.
Be prepared and respect our non-ski school guests if they decline letting your group alternate. Never allow your children to alternate with the public on their own. And as the instructor, make sure that you ride last. When riding with 2 or more students, position yourself in between them so you are hand in hand with students on either side. This will allow you to assist the children on either side of you. Employees on snowboard equipment may only ride with one 3 to 6-year-old, and that child must be on the employee's toe edge side. Recognize the difference between loading a fixed grip chairlift and loading a detachable chairlift. With a fixed grip chairlift, be sure to position your student closest to the lift attendant. If riding with 2 students, communicate as to which child you will be assisting so the attendant can help the other with a side load technique. On detachable chairlifts, the attendant will assist with a pullback load, so access to the back of the child should be clear. Teach the students to wait at the wait here board and then chase the chair out to the load board.
We're going to shuffle up to the blue line, okay?
Coach them to shuffle from board to board so they become independent.
Shuffle those feet.
Make eye contact with the lift attendant and communicate when it is your group's first time on the chairlift. In certain situations, including nervous students or with first-time riders, it may be helpful for the lift to be slowed down. Be sure to communicate this with the lift attendant.
Can we get a slow speed, please? And can I get assistance with Addie on my left?
Allow the lift attendant to assist your students. They are a great asset for you in helping your children shuffle to the load line, helping them to get up into the seat, and in getting the bar down. Coach your students to the importance of the chair bar on equipped chairs, and let them know it must remain down for the duration of the ride. Ride the lift with the last of your students. This will allow you to make sure that everyone has loaded with the bar down. This will also allow you to keep your class in view so you can watch for horseplay. Do not let children of any age ride the chair alone. Children 7 years and older are required to ride together or with a responsible and willing employee. Snowboard-specific chair loading will be covered later in this video. Now let's not forget about your safety. It is just as important as the children's. Take the time to make sure that you are focused on the task at hand when you are loading the chairlift. Horseplay is unacceptable and must be addressed immediately. Horseplay may look like pushing in the lift line, swinging or clanking skis together on the chair, children throwing things from the chair, or even children turning around while riding. Look for behavior concerns throughout the lift riding lesson and speak with children about how the lift is a machine and not an amusement ride.
Okay, are we gonna fight in the lift line?
If you have concerns with particular students, make sure to separate them and ride with any child that needs additional support. Teach children to scoot all the way into the chair with both their back and center of mass against the seat back. Coach students to not be overly reliant on the footrests. Some chairs have targets for the children to move to. Be sure to point those markers out to the children during the lift riding lesson. Remind students that the chair bar must be lowered for the entire ride, and set the example as the instructor or resort employee by doing the same. Coach children to face forward for the duration of the ride and to enjoy the view that is ahead of them. Make sure to review the unloading and meeting procedures prior to the children loading. Provide clear instructions for when the children should raise the bar. Speak to them about the dangers of raising the bar too early and educate them on looking for the Ripperoo signage or the Raise Bar Here sign that is located inside the low clearance area and close to the top ramp. Children should work as a team in lifting the bar. Teach them to lift from the side bar or the vertical helper bar, as it may be hard for them to push straight up from the front due to their height. When approaching the unload ramp, teach children to look for the Unload Here sign and to keep their tips up. Coach children to stay balanced with their center of mass moving down the ramp. Be creative with games that keep them from falling back or from grabbing their partner on the ramp. Pretending to fly or just keeping hands on knees can be great cues for success on the unload ramp. Instructors should communicate a marker of some sort before the children load the lift so they know what to look for once at the top. Many resorts have animal signs, trail maps, totems, or other markers that will help the children understand where to group up and will be of assistance for them in clearing the unload ramp. Make sure you are familiar with your specific resort's beginner lifts and unload areas. All children 6 years or younger should be accompanied by an instructor on the chairlift. Also, recognize smaller 7 and 8-year-olds and have them ride with an employee. Children 7 years or older are required to ride with other students or employees and may not ride the chair alone. Instructors and other uniformed resort employees are allowed to take a maximum of 2 children in this age group. Children 6 years and younger should be wearing a resort-specific bib or vest so that they are easily identified. The vest is essential for lift operators to recognize our youngest students and for them to assure that these children do not ride the chair alone or without an adult. The handles on the vest provide a place for the lift attendants to assist the children into the chair. Be sure and leave access to the handles by keeping your arms clear from the child's back. There are a few additional considerations when loading a chairlift with snowboard students. Your students should be comfortable with skating and gliding before you take them to a lift. Remind your students that after they skate to the load board, they should step their back foot to the toe edge of their snowboard to make chairlift loading easier. When preparing to unload, your students should point their snowboards forward, step directly onto the snowboard, look forward, and stand up into a straight glide. When loading multiple students on a chair, regular, left foot forward riders should be on the left side of the chair with goofy, right foot forward riders on the right hand side of the chair. This helps ensure that your students can see each other when unloading, and if they do fall on the off-ramp, they're more likely to fall away from each other. If you're a snowboarder helping 3 to 6-year-olds, only take one child at a time and keep them on your toe side. Now let's summarize by reviewing the Vail Resort's children's lift riding policies and procedures. Before riding a lift, instructors should teach all students how to safely ride the lift. Organize your class outside the lift maze and assist with alternating your class into the public line. Recognize and eliminate horseplay immediately. If any horseplay is noticed, stop the entire group until everyone is settled and focused on loading and riding the lift. Communicate clearly with the lift attendant regarding any needs for students. When riding with more than one student, instructors and other resort employees must always ride between two students. As the instructor, you must always ride behind your students when you are unable to ride with them. And whenever possible, we expect all of our instructors to assist with children and kids on lifts. Employees and students must keep the chair bar in the lowered position on all equipped chairlifts. Chair bars must be kept down until reaching the raise bar here sign in the unload area. Employees on snowboard equipment may only ride with one 3 to 6 year old child, and that child must be on the employee's toe edge side. Age-specific requirements. All children 6 or younger must have a resort-specific bib or a vest in both group and private lessons. All children 6 years or under must ride with an instructor or a Vail Resorts employee. Children 7 years or older are required to ride with other students or employees and may not ride the chair alone. Recognize smaller 7 and 8 year olds and have them ride with an employee. Riding our chairlifts with children is a big responsibility. Be safe out there by using the information in this video to commit to the safety and wellness of our guests, as well as yourself. A child's safety is paramount for ensuring the lesson experience is truly the experience of a lifetime.